Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I'm Dustin. Today we're going to be looking at DJT. This is the show where we look at the most active stocks in all of Yahoo Finance. Unfortunately for DJT, we have continued to have multiple bad days in a row. Now, when I think about what's going on in the DJT stock, I said this in one of my earlier videos this week, you want to be very cautious with a stock that has been up so much, especially when you have such a meme. But I will say I do love that the price is back in the green. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll understand what these colors mean. But just for those new ones, what the most important part here is that when you have red lettering with a white background, that means it's 3 standard deviations above its mean. When you're talking about red background with black lettering, that means it's 2 standard deviations above its mean. When you are in the green with the black lettering, that means it is right in the standard distribution range of the 23-day moving average. You can see the 23-day moving average is $30. The 5-day moving average is 42.64. We're well below, but we are just right above the 23-day moving average. I would expect that we get some support somewhere around here, especially considering that the price is now actually not that far away from the 23-day moving average, and the volume has started to really kind of consolidate here. I like it. I mean, regardless, win or lose, this is probably going to be something that is going to have major volatility going forward. If we look at where this price is relative to the historical 23-day moving average, you can see, again, we were at 24.77. You can see that here on the 29th. We are coming back down in line. We're getting much closer. I actually like the price here in terms of something as a purchase because I think that now that we're much more in line with where like reality would be in terms of the probabilistic range, I feel much more comfortable with the idea that I would buy this. Now, again, if you watch my video from yesterday, I would say do not go heavy into this. I would buy this with a small position because the volatility is so high, but the price is going to continue to rise, it looks like. Now, if we look at the overall signals, we're still going to go along in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. We've got bullishness in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. If we look at what we're seeing from the overall rolling sentiment, again, if you watch my video from yesterday, my concern is that this thing is so ridiculously high. This indicator itself really usually has problems going over 60% or going under 40%. It's at 72% as of yesterday. Obviously, it's going to start falling back down. It's going to come back. It's at 69% as of today. I don't expect it to be there. The market wants to be in a yin and a yang. It wants to be around 50%, so it's going to mean revert. Now, if we look at the overall trading signals, I wouldn't expect to see any of the bull bear key three or the bull key three. The reason why is because the move has been so extreme inside of DJT over the past few weeks that I think it has to consolidate to be able to kind of just either consolidate the gains to be able to move higher or start to actually fall to be able to reflect the true price trend. Now, if you look at I mean, what a crazy chart. I mean, like I have so much respect for what this chart has done because this has made fortunes. It's also probably made people lose things. Now, if you're looking at what the price is probably going to do, again, if we're looking at this daily sentiment indicator, we have finally broken below the 15-day moving average of sentiment. We're at 64% on the daily. This thing hasn't been below that since, if we're going to be generous, since the 8th, since August 30th, when it was at 37%. It easily can come back down to 50%. That doesn't mean the price is going to necessarily fall, but it means it's just going to consolidate for a little bit. Now, if we're going to look at the overall volume, just insane. If we're going to look at the volatility, obviously just insane. I assume that the volatility is going to start to roll over. I'd like to see it roll over because if it rolls over and correlation starts to roll over, two negatives will make a positive. The price should go sideways to up generally, which I think is very positive for this. Now, if you're looking at this trade range, have some concerns. The reason why I say that is because we're being honest, the price range has gotten so insane that you can't even believe that this range is legitimate. Now, I'm not saying it's not legitimate. Obviously, I made this model and I made this extension, which is a better version of this exact same model. The highs, it still continues to go higher, but the low is just ridiculous. Like the volatility has made it so that this move that we saw today is back in its range. The volume has fallen. The bullishness is still there. We're right above the trade level. I have some concerns. I would say this thing's probably going to come back down to the mid 25s, maybe like probably mid 25s. Like I don't want to say this thing is going to go all the way down to 20, but it's going to take a while for this trade range to kind of catch up and for the market to catch up. And right now, with what we're seeing, things are just so wildly out. They're just so crazy that I wouldn't expect anyone to necessarily get anything buy or sell here. I would just say be careful. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox every single Sunday. Stocks breaking out between $5 and $20. Stocks breaking out to 1-year highs. Stocks breaking out to all-time highs. It is a great list to get your trading week started. I'll talk to you soon.